everyone, welcome to MovinGal's video series, and today I'm so excited because we're launching our first video series, our interview video series, and today we are talking with Paige Holden from Holman Moving Company, and so it's really interesting to get a professional's perspective. So welcome, Paige.
Hi, Janet. I'm excited to be here. I love MovinGal.
Awesome, thank you. Well, I'm super excited that you're able to join us today. So our first question is, with the start of the new year, what is the most important thing you want folks to know about moving?
I think the most important thing for people to know about moving in the new year is not so much what, we're going into in 2012, but what you can do in January and February if you're planning on moving in the summer, which of course is the heaviest moving time of the year. A lot of people, it's January, it's snowing. They don't think that, summertime is right around the corner. But when it comes to moving, January is really the best time to get your ducks in a row before movers get slammed around April and May.
So true. Great words, because that is the earliest you get started, the better off you'll be, because then you'll be able to select the dates that you want, and that's critical.
Absolutely. Yes.
As a professional in the business, do you have a few tips to share on how to choose the best moving company?
I do. I have a slew of tips, and they range from different areas. I think the first thing that anybody who's hiring a mover is going to want to do is make sure that they're hiring a reputable company. This is so important. I know that, times are tough and people are cutting costs, but you really want to find a mover that's going to meet your personal needs, that's going to be able to move all the items in your house safely and legally and in the right equipment, and make sure that your valuables are safely loaded and on their way. So the most important thing, number one, is when you contact a mover, it's really important to make sure that they're local to you at origin, so that they can come to your home and look at what needs to be moved before giving you an estimate, because that's really the best way for our salespeople to understand what you have, what materials your things are built out of to get the right weight. And of course, moving estimates are always done by weight. The second thing is if you've narrowed down the field and you have a few movers in your area, ask them for their MC or DOT numbers. This is their licensing tag, so to speak. And once you have that number, you can go to www.protectyourmove.gov and enter that number into a form they have right there, front and center on the website, and it'll fire back at you where that moving company stands in terms of regulations and how many trucks are in their fleet, and all the pertinent info to just make sure that you're working with somebody reliable and big enough to handle your move.
That is so true, because there's a lot of folks out there that, especially if they're a new mover, may not have the experience to look for those resources. So that's a great tip, because it's true. And unfortunately, you do have a few people out there that are scammers, and you do need to protect yourself. And it's so true. The more research you do, the better off you'll be. And if it sounds too good to be true, chances are it's too good to be true. So, thanks, Paige. That's a great tip. If folks I think you've already talked about this briefly, but if folks are planning to move this summer, when should they get started on contacting their moving companies? I think you already kind of said January already.
Yeah, I would get started now. It can't hurt. Get your ducks in a row. Take your time. Research your movers properly. Go on a site visit to go visit your mover. We always suggest this. A business that cares about their customers and cares about their products is going to be clean, welcoming, warm, friendly. So pop in as a surprise. At the moving companies you're scouting out. All that stuff takes time. So if you started in mid-January and took a month to, sort through the paperwork, sort through the moving companies, go and visit them, really you're looking to book your move around late February. That will give you a little bit more leniency in terms of your load dates, which is a huge thing for people who have kids who are in school and jobs they need to start at their destination.
So true. That is true. Yep. You can never start too early. That is a given. Although I must say I've been guilty of being completely under the gun. So But it is true.
But
It is really true. The more time you have, you just have a lot more preparation and you have so
absolutely.
much more, flexibility. So yeah, that makes a big
And
difference.
Janet, you know better than anybody else. Moving is stressful.
Yeah.
If you have the time to at least enter into the beginning of it calmly and
Yeah.
rationally and not, totally crazy, why not capitalize on it? Just start earlier. It's kind of like taxes that way.
So true. So true. Definitely. I completely agree. And if there's a lot of less stress involved, the better it is for sure. So
Absolutely.
the next question I have is, what are a few mistakes that you've seen people do that can cause havoc during a move?
Oh gosh. Well, definitely not planning their moves. I mean, I know we're kind of beating a dead horse here, but if you know you're moving in June and you need to be at your job, start your job, or you need to close on your house in mid-June, and you're trying to find a mover the first week of June, it's just not going to happen for you. It's just we don't we're probably filled to capacity by that time. And I understand it's frustrating, for people who do have last minute moves like that, but really that's a critical thing. Another thing we see often is people not taking into account the work they want to do on the home they're moving into prior to the stuff showing up at the door. So if you're going to rip out carpet and lay down hard wood, you probably want to take care of that before the moving company delivers your goods. Because, of course, once it's in the house, it's really hard to get it back out of the house.
It's in.
Yeah, we see that a lot. So, and they're like, oh, I should have thought of that. Well,
Yeah,
think of that.
so true. Because you do
And
not want to have to move that very large piece of furniture by yourself because you just didn't time your home improvement project right.
exactly. I mean, and I did this. I made this mistake myself, Janet. I did. I moved in, and I didn't realize the mess of spackle and paint, and I had so many drapes over my furniture. It was ridiculous. And of course, I got the big "I told you so" from my mother. But
They're good like that.
life lesson learned. And the third, one of the most important things I could ever tell anybody, especially if you're buying a home, is do not schedule the move on the day that you're supposed to close.
Oh,
Too many
yeah,
things go wrong. Too many things get delayed. If you don't close until 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you think that a moving company is going to come and unload 24,000 pounds of goods at 3, it's just not going to happen. Save yourself the hassle. Stay in a hotel room for a night and start fresh. Start fresh the next day.
that is huge because that's very true. Because there's a lot of things that can go wrong, unfortunately, at a close, and you don't want to be having to make some major calls to your mover as they're sitting there waiting for you with a crew because you haven't been able to get the keys because you haven't been able to close. So yeah,
Right.
that's huge. I definitely agree. At least 1 or 2 days slack. It's better to be safe than sorry that way. And then you have contingency built in for that. That's so true. You do not. We always move in the day after close or the subsequent day. It's worth it. It's just worth it.
Yeah.
You don't need to be stressed out at the realtor's office or the title company and trying to sort it all out. Yeah, that is a great tip. And so, with it, do you have anything else that you can think of?
Oh, anything else? I think moving is it's a whole bunch of logistics that need to work out for everything to happen, perfectly every time. So plan ahead, be realistic. If you're moving out to California, and there's a big snowstorm in the way, the truck is a little delayed, these things happen. It's not FedEx. So you just want to plan, around your move. You always want to plan in a few days of a buffer zone, just in case something happens. Of course, every mover is going to do the best they can to live up to, what they've promised you. But there are unforeseen circumstances, and managing expectations is really important to keep your stress levels down. I think that, and just really taking the time to find the right mover for you.
That's right. Pick well, and then you won't be disappointed in the end. And I think that makes a big difference. Do your homework ahead of time, and then it'll pay dividends when you're done. So, no, I completely agree. And you're right. You have to have some realistic expectations going in that things can change. Be flexible, be patient, take a deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
It'll all work out in the end, but it's going to be a wild ride, but you'll get there. And
We
you
call
rather,
it adventure, but we think of that as like, we think of that as in a good way. You know,
yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you are moving to a new place. It should be fun and interesting, and there are a lot of positive things to think about when you're moving. So if you just stay focused on what's cool about what you're doing instead of all the, you know, details and everything like that,
Right.
you know, your whole family will be better off for it.
Exactly. Exactly. I think I wrote a blog post about staying positive because you set the tone for the move. So if you stay positive through it and you laugh, granted, you're going to have some obstacles that you'll have to hurdle, but for the most part, if you stay positive and keep that train of thought, and it radiates through the family, so everybody will be looking forward to it, and you get to laugh. And at the end, in a couple months after you're settled in, you're going to be laughing at some of the obstacles that you had to hurdle, and then you'll be like, wow, yeah, we did it, no problem.
Exactly, to bring you closer together.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there are days, I tell you, but it
Yep.
will, because you have to treat it as a team. You're in it to win it, and you'll get there, and it all works out in the end. It's funny how it does, but
It
it
really
does.
does. And if you choose the right mover, they'll be part of your team. You know, I
Correct.
mean, your mover should be they should make you feel like you have, you know, a pinch hitter in your corner. They should make you feel like you are going to be fine. And that's really when you get that gut instinct when you're looking for a mover that, yeah, you know, I think these people are going to do it right for me.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly. You need that reassurance, and that's critical. That is definitely it. Well, thanks, Paige. It was really great to chat with you, and I really look forward to keeping up on Twitter and all the other social media outlets with you. So thanks again. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
It has been.